So last Tuesday, on April 20th, Apple had an event they called Spring Loaded where they talked about some new iPads and iMacs and other things. So I thought I would talk about it for a little bit. So one of the first things they talked about was the iPhone 12 is now coming in a purple color, and that will be available on April 30th. They are also making a new Apple TV 4K, and they redesigned the remote, so now there's like a scroll wheel on it. It's kind of like the old iPod. You could like scroll your finger across it. So it has a new remote, and then they also put the A12 Bionic chip in it, which is the same processor that was in the iPhone XR and iPhone XS, which might not sound great because it's like from a couple years ago, but really it's a fast processor to be in an Apple TV. It will also be able to play high dynamic range video at a high frame rate, which I don't really know what they mean by high frame rate, but that's what they said. So for the 32GB version, it will be $179, and for the 64GB version, it will be $199. And these will be available on the second half of May. And then for the new iPad Pros, they put an M1 chip in it, which is the processor that Apple is trying to start putting in all their computers because like they've been using Intel processors and they're trying to like change it out for Apple's own processors. And so the M1 chip is like the new processor they've been putting in all their stuff, and they claim that it's way more efficient and powerful than the other Intel processors that they've been using. So these new iPad Pros have a new display they've been calling Liquid Retina XDR, and if you get a cellular iPad Pro, it'll be compatible with 5G now. They also talked about a new feature for the iPad Pro called Center Stage, and because the front-facing camera on the iPad is now wide angle, they're making it so like if you're moving around the room, it will automatically zoom in on you during the call. And if there's more than one of you in the call, it'll make sure to keep all of you in the frame. And so it won't just like zoom in on one person specifically. The 11-inch iPad Pro has a starting price of $799, and the 12.9-inch iPad Pro has a starting price of $1,099, and both will be available at the second half of May. And then they also announced a new iMac, which is completely redesigned, and it's like super thin, like it's 11.5 millimeters thin. And the screen is also bigger, and so it's 24 inches now. And also in this new design, there's no like Apple logo on the front side. It's just like blank at the bottom, which I thought was interesting. And these new iMacs also have the M1 chip that they also put in the iPad, and so now that's like what makes it smaller or whatever, because it's more power efficient, so the fan doesn't have to be as big, so they can make the computer smaller. The starting price of these new iMacs is $12.99, and it comes in blue, pink, green, and silver. Which, honestly, I thought the pink color is more of a red, except, like, the front part. But, like, the back of the computer seems to be more red than pink. And then there's also more expensive models of the iMac, which come with a new keyboard that has Touch ID on it. I mean, of course, all the iMacs come with a keyboard, but the more expensive ones have the Touch ID sensor on it. And the more expensive iMacs come in a few more colors. They come in blue, green, pink, silver, yellow, orange, and purple. And all of these new iMacs will be available in the second half of May. And then finally, the most interesting thing they announced at this event to me is called AirTags, and they're like little circles that you can attach to the items that you don't want to lose, such as like a wallet or your keys or something like that. And I've heard there was rumors like for a long time that Apple would make these at some point, but they finally announced it. And so like I said, you put them on the things you don't want to lose, and then on the Find My app in your iPhone that comes on there, you can like track all your stuff that you don't want to lose. And if you're in Bluetooth range of them, like if it's in your house or something, you can make it play a sound in the app so then you can like hear it and find it. But what's cool is like if you left it somewhere, like you have no idea where it is and it's not in your house, you can still find it even though there's no GPS on these little trackers. And the way they work is by putting out a Bluetooth signal. And so basically any iPhone or like Apple product that passes by your AirTag will automatically update the location of it because it detected the Bluetooth signal. And it's all encrypted and anonymous. And so like the iPhone that helped find your AirTag the user doesn't even know that they came in contact with an AirTag. And they've also added a feature to like stop people from trying to track you by secretly putting an AirTag like in your backpack or something like that. And so the way they do that is by like if your iPhone detects that there's an AirTag following you somewhere and that AirTag is not with its user, then you'll get a notification saying that there's an AirTag following you, and it'll give you the option to make it play a sound so you can like take the battery out of it or whatever. but you'll only get a notification that says an AirTag is following you if you have an iPhone. And if you're like riding in a car with someone else that has an AirTag, you won't get a notification saying that there's an AirTag following you because it's still with its owner. And then you can buy like these keychains and loops. I think the loops are like to attach to like luggage or something like that. So you can buy these different accessories to like help attach it to things, which I feel like they probably should have just put a loophole like on the AirTag so you wouldn't have to buy a keychain attachment for it, but it's Apple. And you can also customize these AirTags by like putting emoji on it, because like when you're buying it from apple.com, it gives you options to pick like certain emojis to put on it, or you can write letters or whatever you want. And you can buy one AirTag for $29 or a pack of 4 AirTags for $99, and they will be available on April 30th. And they also talked about a few other things, like how they're redesigning the podcasts app, and they're making like subscriptions to be able to listen to it without ads. They also say that you can have like bonus content or early access to the podcast. And then they also mentioned that they're making the Apple Card available to share with like families and set like limits and stuff like that. So I think I talked about most of the things that they mentioned at this Apple event. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.